Panic, chaos. A young girl tries desperately to shake her brother back to life. An Israeli drone has just struck a busy street in Gaza City. Israel insists it only targets Hamas, but so many it kills are civilians. When grief is so raw, how do you put it in words? May God take revenge on you, this woman screams. Her child, one of more than 54,000 victims of Israel's assault. Death is constant in Gaza, but that doesn't make it any easier to bear. For everyone here, Israel is guilty of genocide. But some direct their anger at Hamas too. May God punish you, this distraught man says of one Hamas leader. I pray you are killed too. Back at the scene of the attack, a man is collecting pieces of human flesh in a plastic bag. All he can do to give the victims a dignified burial. This part of Gaza City is crammed with families who've been forced to flee from elsewhere. Since breaking the ceasefire in March, the Israeli military has displaced more than 600,000 Palestinians. UN data shows that 82% of the Gaza Strip is now a declared militarized zone or under evacuation orders. The entire population is somehow meant to live in less than a fifth of the territory that's supposedly safer. Israeli officials have suggested their aim now is to push Gazans towards the south, where 3 of the new Israeli-backed aid distribution sites have been built. This afternoon, the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation resumed operations. After multiple instances of desperate Palestinians being shot trying to reach their site, today's distribution passed off peacefully. But the scheme has been widely criticised by the UN, major charities, and those forced to scrabble for something, anything to feed their families.
We almost died in there. We almost died. All this to get some food for our children. This is all I could get. A bit of flour, a bit of lentils, and 2 packs of pasta.
Working alongside Israeli forces under this new aid distribution scheme, a new armed militia led by an alleged former Gazan criminal. Yasser Abu Shabab has previously been accused of running a looting gang from inside Israeli military-controlled territory. Now his men are openly working with the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. He denies wrongdoing and insists he's helping his people. Today, after a political rival accused the Israeli Prime Minister of arming Abu Shabab, Benjamin Netanyahu released this video admitting to supporting clans in Gaza to rival Hamas. All the time, Israel's bombing campaign continues. Targeted this morning, a group of journalists in a hospital courtyard. Their colleagues reporting on their deaths as they mourn. The Israeli army said it had killed a member of the militant group Islamic Jihad. But the 3 victims were all known to have worked in the media prior to the war. Yet more families torn apart by suffering, which shows no sign of ending.
Well, joining me now, the former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Olmert. And first of all, your reaction to this revelation that Benjamin Netanyahu has been supporting a rival militia to Hamas, jihadist, Israel-hating, and potentially arming them.
I don't know what to say. In as long as this militia is helpful in distributing the needs of the population in an effective way in cooperation with the Israelis, maybe this is a positive step, but I'm not familiar with the facts to be able to judge it from a distance. Again, I think that it is incumbent upon Israel to make sure that all the humanitarian needs of the population are provided in an effective manner. This is very important. This is our moral obligation. how to do it, it's not simple. And as you can see, I mean, in this chaos, which is part of Gaza today, and as long as the military operations continue, it's probably very complex, very difficult. So if this militia is helpful in providing the needs, and actually effectively providing the needs, then maybe this is one way of coping with this difficulty.
Now, you have argued that Benjamin Netanyahu should now face war crimes charges. Can you explain why?
Well, I'm here using a terminology that I didn't use, but yes, what I said, and I keep on saying, is that when a war is declared by a majority of Israelis, it's not a result of any national security interest of the State of Israel. When it is obvious and is accepted widely that there is not a chance that as a result of these operations, we will be able to save the lives of the hostages. Perhaps on the contrary, we may risk them and we may lose them. If in this process of a war which is not waged because of national interest, but as people say, because of the political interest of the prime minister, we're losing soldiers, we may lose the hostages, and quite a few Palestinians not involved are killed, this is a crime. And now I don't know whether it falls within the legal definitions of a war crime, whatever, but it doesn't matter. It has to stop. Right now, we have to end the war, we have to return all the hostages, and we have to make the necessary arrangements together with Egypt and Jordan and America and the Emirates and others in order to establish a new government in Gaza that will take over from Hamas. This is what we need to do instead of continuing an unnecessary war.
Keir Starmer and Emmanuel Macron have both said they are considering further sanctions against members of the Israeli government. Would you support that?
Well, you don't want me to give a clear bill of health in advance on something that I'm not familiar with. I can say this. If Ben Gvir and Smotrich, these two outspoken extremist, messianic, fundamentalist supporters of terror, ministers, senior cabinet ministers in the Israeli government will continue to be representatives of the spirit of this government, that I will not be surprised if friendly countries, and I consider President Macron to be a friend of the State of Israel. I know him, I know what he thinks, I know that he is committed to the best interest of the State of Israel, not of the government of Israel. But if he will decide to take measures against these specific individuals because of what they say and what they do, I will not be surprised.
Ehud Olmert, thank you very much indeed for joining us. Well, earlier today, the Israeli Foreign Ministry spokesperson, Oren Marmerstein, offered an interview. It was on the basis that our agreed duration of 4 minutes couldn't be edited. More people have been killed today in Israeli airstrikes. The British Prime Minister has described what's going on in Gaza as appalling and intolerable and is considering further sanctions. The French are also considering sanctions. What's your response?
Hi, Christian. It's good to be on the show. First, I want to share with you some of the sentiment in Israel. It's a very emotional day in Israel. 2 of our hostages are back. They are back in a military operation. They are dead. This is Gadi and Judy, 73 years old and 70-year-old. Those are two people, grandpa and grandmother, went for a morning walk and they were slaughtered.
And I will ask you about this, but I'd be grateful if you answer the questions.
I will answer. I just want to share with you something that I heard before coming to this show. This is the last phone call of Judy crying, calling the emergency line, saying, my husband is just been shot. I've been shot. My husband's brain is spilled over. Come and help me. Unfortunately, no one helped her. She was slaughtered. Gadi was slaughtered. And 56 more hostages are still in the hell, nightmare called Hamas. We want to see them back. And every day that passes by just makes it more urgent to have our hostages released.
Yes, but your response to the international condemnation of what you're doing is what?
We're trying to share the situation as is with international community and international organization. And the situation is the following. Unfortunately, Hamas is still a threat, an immediate threat to the people of Israel. We are not in a situation in which we cannot vouch that we won't have another October 7th. And this is why this war is still going on.
So you carry on. I mean, the former defense minister, Avigdor Lieberman, has said that Israel has been supplying weapons to a jihadist rival militia operating in Gaza under areas of Israeli control. How is that happening?
So first, I think the one making those statements needs to be asked.
But it hasn't been denied by the Prime Minister's office.
I think what the Prime Minister's office published is that Israel is doing everything possible to fight Hamas.
Including arming other militia.
I don't think they had it in their statement. So I think this is the wording.
You're not denying it, are you?
No, I'm saying that we are doing everything possible to fight this evil. What kind of person killed a 70-year-old grandma in her morning walk? What kind of person takes Ariel and Kfir Bibas, two babies, and kidnapping? If you can explain this to me, what kind of cause justify taking babies as hostages, I would be astonished.
And is the lesson of what has happened in bringing back these two bodies that armed conflict is the way to get the hostages back? Because many of the hostage families fear that more of those who are still alive will be killed if this war carries on.
I think first we should listen and respect the hostages' families, I would say almost in a sacred way. They are going through living hell. I can't imagine having my daughter, my mother in captivity in Hamas.
But the war carries on because we're very tight for time.
I can't imagine. So we should listen to them. But on the same time, we should also judge what proved to be very effective. It's the combination of military operation and diplomatic means. And if you allow me, I can explain about the diplomatic means.
I'm afraid our time is up. So Oren Marmerstein, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.